In 1991, the Soviet Union collapsed. Empires fell. Secrets spilled. But among the millions of classified documents left behind, there were files so strange, so disturbing, that even intelligence officers hesitated to speak about them. These were not files about spies, nuclear weapons, or political assassinations. They were files about UFOs. In 1998, a series of documents, allegedly originating from the KGB, the most feared intelligence agency in history, surfaced in the public domain. These documents described encounters with unidentified flying objects, military confrontations, unexplained technologies, and in some cases, non-human entities. UFO encounters, unknown aerial phenomena, military pilots facing objects that defied physics, and intelligence officers ordered to investigate what could not be explained. Were these files real intelligence reports, Cold War misinformation, or evidence that the Soviet Union knew something about the universe that the rest of the world still doesn't? These documents would later become known, collectively, as the KGB UFO files of 1998. Why the Soviet Union took UFOs seriously? To understand the KGB UFO files, we must first understand the mindset of the Soviet Union. During the Cold War, the USSR lived in constant fear of technological surprise. Anything in the sky that could not be identified was immediately considered a potential American superweapon. Unlike the United States, which often dismissed UFO sightings publicly, the Soviet approach was different. In the USSR, pilots were required to report unknown aerial objects. Radar anomalies were logged, not ignored. Scientists were ordered to investigate, not ridicule. For the Soviet military, a UFO was not a joke, it was a threat. This fear gave birth to secret research programs under direct KGB supervision. Officially, the Soviet Union dismissed UFOs as Western propaganda or mass hysteria. Publicly, there was no interest. Privately, the KGB thought very differently. Beginning in the late 1940s, the KGB, along with its military counterpart, the GRU, quietly began collecting reports of unidentified aerial phenomena. Pilots, radar operators, cosmonauts, and even civilians were interrogated. The goal was not curiosity, it was threat assessment. If unknown objects could penetrate Soviet airspace without detection, then the balance of global power was at risk. The KGB, Komitet Gosudarstvenoi Bezopasnosti, was more than an intelligence agency. It controlled surveillance, counterintelligence, scientific secrecy, military information. Inside its vaults were millions of documents, categorized by threat level. UFO reports were filed under unidentified aerial phenomena, potential foreign or non-human origin. Thousands of reports were collected from military pilots, air defense radar stations, nuclear facilities, civilians living near restricted zones. These F-files remained hidden until 1998. According to researchers who examined the 1998 releases, the KGB classified UFO incidents under euphemisms: cosmic phenomena, unidentified aerial objects, anomalous atmospheric events. These categories allowed investigators to study UFOs without ever using the term publicly. One internal memo reportedly stated, "The phenomenon displays intelligent control, instantaneous acceleration, and complete disregard for known aerodynamic limits. Explanation by foreign technology is currently insufficient." According to the files, the Soviet Union recorded thousands of UFO encounters between the 1940s and late 1980s. Common descriptions included disc-shaped craft, glowing spheres, triangular objects, silent movement, instant acceleration. These sightings were reported across Siberia, Ukraine, Kazakhstan, the Baltic states near nuclear missile sites. One internal conclusion stated, "These objects demonstrate flight characteristics beyond known human technology." Encounters with Soviet military aircraft. Among the most disturbing files were reports from elite Soviet Air Force pilots, men trained to identify enemy aircraft under extreme conditions. In multiple incidents from the 1960s through the 1980s, pilots described glowing objects that matched speed with fighter jets, jammed instruments without physical contact, accelerated vertically at impossible angles. One pilot's testimony, allegedly included in the KGB files, described a silver sphere that followed his aircraft for over 10 minutes. "It wasn't American, it wasn't ours, and it knew I was watching it." The case was marked "Do Not Disseminate." Some of the most disturbing files involved direct encounters between UFOs and Soviet fighter jets. Pilots reported being followed, radar lock failures, sudden system shutdowns, objects outmaneuvering jets with ease. In several incidents, pilots requested permission to fire. The answer was always the same: do not engage. The reason? The KGB feared that these objects possessed technology far beyond Soviet weapons. Radar operators across the USSR reported targets that appeared and vanished instantly. These objects showed no heat signature, no predictable flight path, and no radio response. In one 1977 incident near the Baltic Sea, multiple radar stations tracked a formation of unknown objects entering Soviet airspace simultaneously. Interceptor jets were scrambled. The objects vanished. Moments later, they reappeared behind Soviet defenses. The KGB report concluded, "The object demonstrates strategic intelligence exceeding known adversarial capabilities. Probability of non-terrestrial origin cannot be excluded." Civilian encounters, controlled disclosure. While military cases remained sealed, the KGB also monitored civilian UFO encounters, especially those involving mass sightings. The reason was simple: too many witnesses meant too much risk. Villagers were questioned, photographs confiscated, medical reports classified. In several cases, civilians reported burns, paralysis, and temporary memory loss following encounters with low-flying objects. Official explanation: atmospheric phenomena. Unofficial classification: unresolved. The Voronezh Incident. One of the most controversial cases connected to the KGB UFO files is the Voronezh Incident of 1989. Children reported a landed craft, humanoid beings, a symbol burned into the ground. Western media mocked the story, but KGB documents suggest something else. The area was sealed, radiation levels were measured, soil samples were removed. The final report did not deny the event. It simply stated, "No explanation consistent with current scientific knowledge." Cosmonaut testimonies. Perhaps the most sensitive files involved cosmonauts, heroes of the Soviet Union. Several reported observing structured objects during orbital missions. This was not debris, not reflections. Objects that maneuvered intelligently. One internal briefing warned, "Discussion of unidentified objects observed in orbit is forbidden. Public disclosure may cause panic and ideological destabilization." The Stone Soldiers Incident. Among all the KGB UFO stories, this one stands out as the most shocking. According to a document attributed to KGB archives, a UFO was allegedly shot down during a military exercise. From the wreckage emerged several humanoid beings. Witnesses claimed the beings merged into a glowing sphere. A blinding flash occurred. 23 soldiers were instantly turned into stone. Only 2 survived. This incident became known as the Stone Soldiers case. However, this story later appeared in sensational Western tabloids and remains highly controversial. No physical evidence has ever been verified. Several files suggested that the KGB investigated UFO crash sites. Allegations include wreckage transported to secret facilities, unknown alloys studied by scientists, radiation effects observed on personnel. Scientists reportedly concluded the material structure does not match any known earthly origin. Many witnesses reported physical and mental effects after UFO encounters. Memory loss, headaches, nausea, burns, hallucinations. Electronics frequently malfunctioned. The KGB suspected electromagnetic fields, directed energy, unknown physics. For decades, the KGB suspected the UFO phenomenon might be secret American technology. But the files reveal growing doubt. Objects detected simultaneously over Soviet and American territory. Encounters reported by both NATO and Warsaw Pact pilots. One memo allegedly concludes, the phenomenon does not serve any known geopolitical interest. Its behavior suggests observation rather than aggression. The KGB also explored psychological explanations, mass hallucination, mind control experiments. But too many cases included radar data, physical traces, electromagnetic interference. The conclusion? Psychological warfare could not account for everything. By 1998, fragments of these files began leaking to the public. Some through former intelligence officers, others through journalists who had access to abandoned archives. The Russian government neither confirmed nor denied the authenticity. Silence was the policy. Almost immediately, ridicule followed. Sensational stories, fake documents, conspiracy overload. Researchers argue this was intentional. When everything sounds unbelievable, nothing is taken seriously. Officially, the KGB never confirmed extraterrestrial life. Internally, possibilities included advanced foreign technology, natural plasma phenomena, unknown life forms. One internal memo stated, the origin remains unidentified and cannot be excluded as non-human. Today, governments around the world are slowly acknowledging what the KGB quietly documented decades ago. Unidentified objects, unexplained technology, unknown intelligence. The KGB UFO files of 1998 were not answers. They were warnings. The sky has never belonged to us alone.